You have a mane of hair.
So what year was this?
69?
That's crazy.
68, 69, yeah.
That's crazy.
And here's why.
I didn't know hair extensions went back that far.
It's a beauty ritual.
Hello and welcome to the Beauty Ritual Podcast, the podcast that hosts conversations about age, beauty, and identity in a world where the pressure to conform rises every day. This is your dose of perfection correction. Today, I am so privileged to introduce Peter Lamas. Peter began his career at the world-renowned Vidal Sassoon salon in New York City, where he trained under Paul Mitchell. He perfected his craft through intensive hands-on work, and he later joined the legendary Kenneth Batal salon, styling some of the most celebrated figures of the era, including Diana Ross, Elizabeth Taylor, Audrey Hepburn, and Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. He has written his autobiography, a book that will be coming out very soon. And Peter has also created his own product line, Peter Lamas Beauty, healthy, performance-driven products. Peter, welcome to the show.
Nicely said.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
You have one of the most heavy-hitting intros I've ever had to do.
My goodness. Well, I earned it.
And I'm happy to get out there and get to bat. I want to know what got you into cosmetology school.
My whole life, I knew I had to do something creative. I paint, I sculpt, I sketch, and when I arrived in New York City, I matriculated in Art Students League, which is one of the finest schools in the country to learn art in general. But in doing so, I had to make a living to pay for the schooling. And I went to school at night, so I was during the daytime waiting on tables and being a messenger and then doing everything I could, working in a department store.
Sure.
It's New York City, so I had many opportunities for different jobs that paid decent, let me put it this way, so I could afford school. And one day at school, one of the girls said, "Oh, I need a haircut. I can't afford it." Well, I said, find a scissor, I'll cut your hair. I mean, it's sculpting. It wasn't something, strange for me to do. And I cut her hair in such a nice way. She loved it. And then her girlfriend came in. Little by little, the word got out with all the students that, go to this guy. He does a great haircut and he doesn't charge. So that's how I got encouraged by them to say, instead of working at a restaurant or doing messenger work or whatever it is that you're doing in a department store in the stockroom department or whatever, go and become a hairstylist.
Sure.
You make good money, you have great tips, and you can afford even better going to school and having money to spend outside of,
Yes, you can.
The course you're taking. Anyway, went to Maranello School, matriculated there, started, and I discovered while I was there, I really knew my stuff in a way of being creative with hair. It wasn't strange for me. It wasn't an environment that I wasn't aware of. Anything that's creative for me, it's easy. It comes easy to me.
Sure.
And the teachers were all impressed. And so I started getting requests from the people that were coming in. Now, but you can't do that. I mean, they assign you to a customer and that's it. But people were demanding almost, I want Peter. Just don't throw me with somebody else, because they went there often. And when they found somebody that was really good and creative, they would request that person. They can't do that, but they still try.
Well, at Paul Mitchell, they actually had a program called Phase 2 where you could actually ask and make appointments with students, because they had a small, quote unquote, salon environment.
Yes,
where
I've been there.
You would basically work as if it were a salon.
A salon, yes.
And so you did get that experience right away and that gratification of like, oh my God, someone requested me. That's incredible.
It's great for your ego.
And it's so motivating. It's so good for your ego. I loved it.
Yes.
My ego is very happy.
And that's how I got so much into it. And little by little, I learned as much as I could. When I graduated, to make a long story short, I realized I still didn't know that much. I knew what a comb was. I knew what a scissor was. I knew what to do with the hair. But there was so much more to the technique and artistry of doing hair.
Is that why you chose your first salon to work at? Was that part of your thought process? Or
yes, because
what was that
in
path?
Europe and in South America, where I come from, you don't have beauty schools. You go to a salon.
Right.
Apprentice. And you become an apprentice for 2 to 3 or 4 years, depending on the salon's program. And then after that, either you stay in that salon or you move on to somebody else's salon, but you learned as much as you could as an apprentice in a salon. So I realized when I finished school, I was okay. I mean, you feel comfortable. You can pass the test. What do you call it?
The state board test.
State board. Thank you. And I passed it with flying colors. But then I said, I still don't know that much.
I think that's a very normal experience for students today. It was a normal experience for me.
Was it for you also?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I think today they have much more to teach you when it comes to technique
But they have less hours in their program now. And it's mostly all about sanitation. So you really still truly go into the salon and you learn there, which is why a lot of salon owners...
What a waste of time.
That's what the government does. That's probably their job, is to really make sure that there's public safety going on. But then it's the industry that suffers because we get professionals that aren't ready to do the job. And I'm not saying that that's a problem with all schools. There are plenty of incredible schools that are doing a great job training both that sanitation effect and the skills, right? But there can be a gap there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you went to your first
salon,
it was Vidal Sassoon.
Well, at first I had to figure out who's out there doing apprenticeship programs because I wasn't that much aware. So somebody told me, Vidal is doing it and Kenneth Patel is doing it. Those were the only two names I got as a reference to go and apply for an apprenticeship program.
Interesting.
And I went to both and I knocked at the door and I presented myself, and Kenneth was very polite, took my application, interviewed me briefly, not him himself, but the personnel that he has working for him. And they said, we'll get back to you. I said, okay. So then I went to Vidal Sassoon the same day and I applied at Vidal Sassoon. But at Vidal Sassoon, I walked in and I said, I'm not looking for a job. I'm looking for an opportunity to work in this amazing salon, to learn as much as I can from the Vidal Sassoon technique, and I will prove myself. And you will not regret hiring me.
So you were just like warming up. You were just warming up at the Kenneth interview.
Yes, exactly. They gave me immediately. They said, "Can you be back here on Monday, and show up at 5 in the evening and bring 2 models?"
Wow. For what?
For test. They're going to test me.
Right, but what kind of test?
To see how I can cut hair and how I can style hair and all that, because they knew I graduated school. I wasn't blind. I mean, I have no experience.
So what haircuts did they want to see?
They first said, bring 2 models, but if you can't bring 1 model that has long hair, but be prepared that long hair is going to go to short. So don't have the girl or the woman, the lady, whoever you're bringing with you, be resistant to changing. She has to be willing. But I did find that one person that was willing, that had long hair, to go short.
Wow.
Because they gave me 3 concepts. Give a blunt cut, give a long layered cut, and give a short cut.
It's almost harder to find a model to go from long to short than it is to actually cut their hair long to short.
Yes.
It's so daunting. Like, it makes me break out into a cold sweat if you told me I had to find someone with long hair that wanted to cut their hair short.
You know what I did? I went to the Art Students League, and I did so many favors there. I said, one of them can't refuse me. And
calling in all your favors.
I called in everybody I could think of. And no, there were several girls that said, okay, I trust you. And it's Vidal Sassoon. I can't wait to see what's going on, because that was a new salon that was making a lot of noise at the time, and people knew about it.
And the opportunity to go as like a young art student is huge.
Yes.
That can be very helpful. I remember having to get models for my salon classes in Beverly Hills. And a lot of my models were very enchanted by the idea of where they would be getting their haircuts.
Yeah, it makes a difference. Anyway, I showed up and it worked beautifully. I went from long to short. She didn't cry. She loved what I did as far as, the creativity and the style that I did. But they were watching me. It was Robert Pearson. I still remember the teacher that was running the school at Vidal Sassoon's training program. And it wasn't Paul Mitchell at the time, it was Robert Pearson. And he watched me, a very primped, I call it British man, quiet, conservative, and didn't say much. So I was kind of nervous, not nervous, but concerned. God, at least tell me you like it, you don't like it. You could do it. He just wanted to, he was observing. But
I really like when people give me some
feedback.
Sense.
Yes.
Of how they're received.
Or at least tell me you're human.
Right. Frog a mirror. You know
just don't stand there quietly observing. And it's kind of,
vampiric.
Yes. Anyway, so I ended, but I was into my work, and they saw that, and the way I treated the young lady, and it was something that he was
Paul
very
Mitchell
pleased.
was the director there.
A style director, teacher, and Pearson was right under him. They both taught, but it was Pearson who was watching me.
So they ended up hiring you.
And they hired me. He said, well, he didn't tell me that same day. He said, thank you, we'll get back to you. And here we go. Well, we'll get back to you mañana. And
Right.
no, they called me 2 days later. They said, she says, Pearson liked you very much. He liked your work, and he feels that you have the capacity to really get into learning the technique.
That is
here.
such a huge compliment.
And that was that's how I took it, as a compliment.
It's a huge compliment.
Oh, thank you. So I showed up, and I was like a sponge right from the very beginning, watching every single stylist cutting hair. And I was still paying attention to being an assistant and handing clips and sectioning hair and bringing coffee and doing all the things that an assistant normally does, including sweeping the floor sometimes.
Right. And especially in a luxury salon, that is a lot of times what even today an assistant would be doing. It's what I did growing up in a luxury salon at Les Journaux. And I wouldn't trade that time for the world. Now, there is a highlight of your assisting career that I would love to dive into, because you assisted one of the most famous and most expensive haircuts in history. Yes, the Rosemary's Baby's haircut on Mia Farrow.
That's right, yes.
Can you take us into the day and what it felt like to be part of such an iconic moment?
Vidal Sassoon said to me, show up at I forget what time, 8 in the morning. And the limo's going to be here waiting for us. The night before, I prepare everything he needed to take with him in this so-called luggage of blower and scissors and everything that goes in there. We arrived in Los Angeles, and we were taken to a hotel. And the following morning, we were taken to Paramount. And I have never been to California, never been to a movie studio, and here it is, Paramount. Everybody knows what Paramount is, studios.
Absolutely.
And you walk through you drove through those gates, and I felt so important, even though I was nothing to do with what's going on except helping him. But it was just a great experience. I got to a studio, I forget the actual studio that we had, Studio 8, 7, one of those numbers that they have. He says, set the equipment over there and wait for me. Sit on the chair in the meantime. So as I'm sitting there watching what's going on, the reporters are coming in, and there's some cameras and there's film, and there are a lot of reporters and photographers. And I'm saying, okay, he hasn't told me what's going on, by the way. We're just going to California, and we got to Paramount. I mean, Vidal didn't share with me that much information.
Sure.
And so he just told me, and now set it all up and be ready, because I'm going to be doing a demonstration. That's as far as I was told. I said, that's cool. And then I started noticing
I have chills.
all this press coming in. I said, there's got to be somebody important showing up. It's not just your typical secretary from the typing pool over here. And they said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. The presenter, my name is so-and-so. I'm head of the public relations department, and we're here so happy to provide for you all the most expensive haircut ever given so far in the United States to a very special person that we'll introduce in a minute. And this haircut is $5,000.
So he announced it before he began?
No, he said the price of the haircut.
Oh.
Now, who is the lucky recipient? And with my pleasure, I introduce now Mia Farrow. Please come on. And she comes in with Frank Sinatra. And I could see her from far away already over there, but I realized, is it her? Who is it? And then Mia Farrow comes in. And they'll say she was only famous from Peyton Place. She was not this huge celebrity that she became. But Sinatra, obviously, everybody who knew who he was. And they showed up right in front of stage. He sat in front of us, and she walked on the stage and talked a little, and he says, and then they explained what the haircut was all about. She's going to be in her first major film, and it's called Rosemary's Baby, and it will be launched and so and so. And they give a little bit of a background about the film. But then she sat on the chair and she says, Mr. Sassoon, why don't you go and begin this transformation? And that's when I got her section, wet her down, sectioned her hair, everything said. And now I became the human clip, because with Sassoon, sometimes he would section and I would separate the hair, and little by little he did what he did. And thank God I was working with him already at the salon, so I knew his method of operation. And it became much easier on stage while we're doing Mia Farrow's transformation of her own look. When we were done, she had short hair. She had short hair to begin with. It wasn't, she didn't wear long hair, and we came from long to
Really?
short.
How long was it?
Oh, it was like up to here. She cut it herself.
It was like a bob?
She cut it herself, very short on herself when she married Sinatra a year before or something like that, or 6 months before. I forget the length of time they were married. But then it grew out into a sort of like a long shag, nothing look up to the chin.
Okay.
And then that's when Sassoon started sectioning and cutting it, and it made it very boyish looking. But as he's creating this image, I'm looking at Sinatra, and he's big red.
Oof.
He was not happy, and I could tell he was not happy. You can see somebody's fidgeting and looking his face is very expressionable. You know if he's happy or if he's not really, if he's ticked off.
Sure.
But when it was done, everybody applauded, and and he left. Sinatra left.
Before it was even finished.
But I say, they were finished, and he just took off. He couldn't stand looking at her any longer.
Wow. So for working at Vidal Sassoon, you became a stylist there, and you eventually worked at Kenneth Batal Salon, where you gained a lot of experience. One of the most interesting things that I think you delved into and worked on were hair extensions. Hair extensions are something that are very big in the industry now.
Today, yeah.
And when you first described to me the method of like taking this wax and cooling it in a fridge and then like rolling it onto the hair, I was so fascinated because I had really only thought that like the most prehistoric type of hair extension were like sewn in, right? Like maybe braided in.
Braided and woven.
But there was an even more prehistoric version with wax.
And you would clamp the wax. You first do the sections of the hair, of the actual hair of the client. You section it and take little braids that you make. And on those braids, you would, at the root, apply the wax, squeeze it, heat it up with this little utensil that we had.
Yeah.
And then let it cool off, let it go, and do it, and keep doing that. And by the time you're done, you have a mane of hair.
So what year was this?
69.
That's crazy.
68, 69. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And here's why.
I didn't know hair extensions went back that far.
Kenneth had a complete salon for facials, makeup, hair, color, wigs, and that wig department I got interested in because in those days a lot of women were wearing hair pieces. And those
like falls?
extensions,
like a fall?
Yeah, like extensions, like a fall. Yes, hair pieces.
Okay, can we describe a fall? Because most people know clip-ins. They know clip-ins, but a fall is a little different.
A fall, you section the hair. It's almost like a wig.
It's like a half wig.
A half wig, yes, it's not full wig. And you use either one or two. And you in those days we anchored it. We made pin curls with cross bobby pins and hooked it on as an anchor with more bobby pins. And then you comb the rest of the hair over that, and you have this big, huge mane because big hair back then was quite popular. Full hair.
I mean, it's very popular today.
It is today, yes.
Very much so. It's a sign of youth.
But it was sophisticated. It wasn't what I call the banana curls. I don't know if you know what that phrase means, but back in the 60s and 70s, yes, that was big time banana curls.
I don't think banana curls are so popular now.
Oh, it's awful. I
think it's
couldn't
more
bring
of a
myself.
wave.
Back in those days, I just find them to be a bit too overdone. But anyway, getting back to the extension. So I learned through the wig department to start taking smaller sections and doing it instead of wearing this fall, create the extension, and don't worry about the fall. They can shampoo their hair, they can do whatever they do because it's almost permanent.
So how long would they wear those extensions back then?
Until the hair grew long enough to about an inch and a half, where you had to remove the wax and then reapply it.
That's the same as today.
Yes,
guys.
no
That's
different.
So crazy. This is one of my favorite pieces of hair history.
And I don't know if you're going to ask me about Diana Ross, but that's something that I introduced to her.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Spill the tea. Tell us about it.
In 1972, I got a phone call, 3:30 in the morning, picked it up. Is this Peter Lamas? I said, yes. He says, this is Diana Ross. Well, I got angry because I felt somebody's playing a trick on me. And I said, I don't like to be called at 3:30 in the morning with this type of joke. She says, no, I truly am. I remember those words. I truly am Diana Ross. So I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I said, so how did you get my number? She says, Marcia Tournier. Marcia Tournier was one of the most famous African-American models at the time. Now I realize this is for real. I said, so you really are Diana Ross. Can I come and see you? I loved her hair, what you did with her hair. I found her on the street. I stopped her because she looked like a tall gazelle. And I asked her, where did you get that look? Your hair is amazing, because at that time they were wearing afros, big afros, in the early 70s. And Marcia wasn't wearing, she was wearing a very sophisticated Josephine Baker look with Marcel waves. It wasn't fluffy or puffy. It was all very elegant with big loop earrings that she wore. And she said, I want exactly that. And I'll tell you why. I just got the rights. I bought the rights to the life of Josephine Baker. And she says, and I want you, that's the look I'm going for, and I want you to give me that look. I'm going to be being photographed in Vogue magazine within 2 weeks, and I want you to do my hair just for that shoot that we're doing for Vogue.
What a great moment.
And that was
to have your work called out on the street?
Yes.
I love that. I love that so
and
much.
That's a story.
So how has the definition of success changed over the years?
You know, here's my philosophy in life. I don't care if you're going to be a lawyer, a shoe shine boy, or a waiter. Be the best you can be at what you do. And I really mean that. Be the very best you can be at what you do, especially if you're dealing with the public. Connect with the public, respect the public, give them the attention and the quality work that they are there to receive from you.
So has it been the same for you
and
since you were in beauty school and through owning your salon,
till
owning
today,
your
till
product?
today.
Okay, so it hasn't changed much.
It hasn't changed much. It's all, and here's the word: the dedication you put in to who you are and what you do.
That's probably guided you in much of your career and your life.
In general, yes. That's the way I function. I try to, in everything that I do, I try to do the very best.
I love that.
You know,
if you could go back to Peter starting out from where Peter is now, what would you tell them?
The Peter that was then, I'm not trying to get out of the question and answering it the way I think you want me to answer it, but I find that
I don't want you to answer it any other way than you genuinely want
to. The Peter
to.
that I know today is no that much different than the Peter back then. The qualities are still there and they've improved, but the quality, as far as being the best you can be at what you do and being dedicated to your career, to the art that I feel I'm part of in designing and creating an image for that individual, which is, I find that such a privilege for a woman or a man, but especially women who I dealt with more than men. They open up to a stylist. I don't have to tell you that. And sometimes with confidence, they'll tell you, I don't feel, I'm pretty, my nose is, I heard it from
true.
Audrey Hepburn. After I got finished with her the first time, and I was doing a little bit of makeup on her and all that for the photo shoot. And she says to me, I have a major complex with my nose. I'm sure she doesn't share that with everybody. But with a stylist or someone that she has confidence in, that she's working with, and she said, can you slim it down a little bit for me because I can still see my bump. It's too pronounced. I like to have some type of camouflaging there. And so I took a little bit of shadowing and camouflaged the whole thing. But I made it look and feel so wonderful. She says, oh, thank you so much. That, to me, coming from someone who's so perfect, in my opinion, as far as image is concerned, and look and bone structure and everything that she has going for her, and yet she saw the hole in the donut, not the whole donut. And that bothered her, that bump on the nose, and I was able to overcompensate to what it is that she was looking at in the mirror. The hair looked great. Everything was working. So when I can please that client of mine sitting in the chair, I take it very seriously.
Right. But if you were going back from where you are now and all of your experiences and you're talking to your younger self, is that what you would tell them?
I would say to him, you know, I'm trying to understand your questioning because
I'm talking about time travel.
I know, yeah, time travel. I like who I am today, and I really like. I have a photograph of myself.
But it's not about not liking yourself.
No. But it's in that feeling that you feel that Peter does whatever he does it as quality as possible when it comes to the finished product.
So you have nothing to say to yourself?
No. I'm happy with who I am. I really am.
You were the first guest I've ever had that has said that. Everyone else has had a message to relay back to their past self.
No.
You were the first person to come in here and be like, I'm good. I don't have anything to send back.
No, not that I'm good, but I'm
okay with that. Why not?
I like who I am. I haven't changed that much in my approach to life.
Okay.
I've learned.
That's totally okay.
You know?
Which means we can go to our final question, which is, what does beauty mean to you?
What does beauty mean? I look at nature and I find beauty in nature. I look at a painting, I find the beauty in painting. I always find the beauty in everything that I can possibly find.
So
automobiles.
Is beauty and like the act of finding it, the act of looking for it?
Look, yes. I'm aware. You know,
that.
My favorite word, aware. I've been aware since I was a little boy. At 5
beauty
years old.
Beauty is an awareness.
Yes. I was at 5 years old. I'm not making this up. I'm as sincere as I can be. Walking in the streets of Havana, where I was born and raised, very exciting city, beautiful city, very glamorous city. I like glamour. I like beauty. I like sophistication. I like great ambiance. That's part of what I get attracted to. And I remember as a little boy, I said, I am on this earth, but not of this earth. And that to me created such an impact. And I kept that thought and that impression all through my life, appreciating everything that I surround myself with. I always try to attract in my life and in my experience the beauty that I can possibly find in a restaurant, buying a car, choosing the clothing that I wear, in general, nature, traveling to different places that I like, that I find so. I love history. I love architecture, and these are the things that inspire me. I become aware and inspired at the same time. That's combination.
Beautiful. I think that's a really unique
and
answer.
I'm happy. I really am because of that. Can I share something with you that I just wrote? Read better because I'm having trouble with
okay, let me read this.
Read it. This is important because at the end it will answer your question. And it's very short.
All right. Reflections on my birthday. A note from Peter Lamas's iPhone. I've come to learn we don't own this life. We're only trusted with it. We are only here a short while, so don't live like you're permanent. We are just passing through. Don't waste today acting like you have unlimited tomorrows. Don't treat people like they are irreplaceable. We are all visitors in this place, and the only thing that truly remains is how we made people feel while we are here.
And that's the best part of it all. How do you make people feel while you're here? With everybody that you meet in life, relatives, friends, strangers.
Sure.
I walk through the streets and I smile at people and they smile back. You know, this is the kind of energy that I want to throw out and at the same time receive back.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
You're amazing. I love you.
I love you. I would like everyone to check out Peter's new book when it comes out to print. Do we know when that's happening? It'll probably
May 1st.
May 1st. You should absolutely read it. His life is fascinating, top to bottom. This was literally the tip of the iceberg, the amount of stories and experience this man has had. You can find Peter on Instagram at Peter Lamas Beauty, his hair products in many stores today. You can find us on Instagram at beauty_ritual and on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.
It's a beauty ritual.